In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at the Thorgrim Grudgebearer trailer released by the Creative Assembly today.
Something stirs in the World's Edge Mountains.
The World's Edge Mountains carry a series of Dwarven carracks or Dwarven strongholds, and many of them have fallen to the Night Goblins. They are numerous, dangerous foes to the Dwarfs. But the Dwarven carracks and the Battle of Blackfire Pass, or the Blackfire Pass itself, are very important strategic locations because they form the bulwark of the Empire against the Orc and Goblin hordes. So if the dwarves fall, there is really nothing stopping the Orcs and Goblins from pouring into the Empire, aside from, of course, their squabbles amongst themselves. So here we see a Dwarven miner trying to make something work.
Death comes to the Dwarven realms.
His beloved gyrocopter, a Dwarven helicopter, powered by steam. And just one thing to note is that the fact that dwarves fly helicopters underground tells you something about the size of the caverns and the great halls beneath the World's Edge Mountains. They are vast. Here we have a forest goblin spider rider. The dwarf picks up his blunderbuss, but he's surrounded. He's going to get wrecked. He can't kite.
For centuries I have been the High King. Now our enemies have thought us weak.
Thorgrim Grudgebearer is the High King, the High Lord of the Dwarfs, the most ancient and noble most ancient and noble dwarf lord. He carries the Book of Grudges. He remembers every slight put upon the Dwarven race by anyone for anything, and the book keeps on growing, and it's Thorgrim Grudgebearer's duty to see that those slights are put right.
Cowards, hiding in the deepest, darkest places. Fools. Every wrong is recorded. Every slight against us. Page after page, etched in blood. Clan Gunnison, Carrick Eight Peaks, Joseph Bookman.
Giants, spiders, night goblins, the Arachnarok, huge spider monster,
Let them come.
some savage orcs assaulting the Dwarven stronghold. This is quite cool, because in the Warhammer game, artillery pieces with a lucky shot will be able to take out something like a giant in one shot, if you're lucky. Now, I really hope that's a factor in Total War Warhammer as well, where artillery pieces are essentially the go-to piece to destroy enemy monsters, so the enemy monsters can't just charge in at will and destroy armies. Goblin Wolf Riders. But this is the main reason why I wanted to discuss this video. Thorgrim Grudgebearer is carried into battle on a shield carried by 4 retainers. Now, I hope that's going to be modeled in, because it's quite important that he's carried on that shield into combat. It puts him up and above his lesser kin, and it makes for a very intimidating model on the battlefield. Here come the gyrocopters, dropping bombs. And this is basically confirming that yes, dwarves will have flyers, they will have gyrocopters. How they're going to be able to combat enemy flyers, because these are not melee flyers, they can fire. That's going to be a bit interesting, if they're essentially going to be kiting away and firing, or if they're going to have some sort of melee attack.
One wrong put right. But the great book of grudges remains full.
And I'm also quite interested to see how that plays into Dwarven diplomacy, because it would be cool if you could go out to set grudges right. So say that you take Karak 8 Peaks, or say that an enemy moves into Dwarven territory, that the dwarves are going to take more offense to that than other factions. So you have to put that wrong right some way to pay gold, or that it's going to be really hard to make diplomatic relations with the dwarves work. Another thing worth noting about the dwarves is that they have no cavalry. So in terms of multiplayer, which is of course what I am primarily interested in, it's going to be really interesting to see if the dwarves just get surrounded and smashed, or if their range and their artillery is powerful enough to hold the enemy at bay, and if so, if the dwarves become the ultimate newbie camping army. But so far, things are looking good. The Creative Assembly is putting out videos. They are saying that this is not actual gameplay footage, which is great, but it gives us a good insight into the visual look that they're going for with the units, the unit design. And I think Total War Warhammer thus far has more atmosphere to it, because of the rich lore in the Warhammer universe, than most of the other Total War titles. Let's just put it at that. We'll see if it can be as immersive as Shogun 2 and Fall of the Samurai. I hope so. Strength and honor.